Hello, Internet. This is Strangelove, and this is yet another attempt at recording this video. I've been having video problems, audio problems. I'm going to blame it on the fact that I've never used Hypercam to record any game higher than, say, PlayStation 1 quality. And Dragon Age 2 is a bit more taxing to capture than that, but I'm gonna keep trying, and the video quality might be pretty poor, but hopefully the audio quality will be stellar, and my voice is really all you care about. Or if it's not, then tell me it is anyway, and make me feel better. Alright, welcome to Let's Play Dragon Age 2! It's a game. I'm not really sure how I feel about it as a game. It has some really good ideas, and it has some really bad ideas. I might hate it or love it depending on what day you ask me. I have many friends who played the first game and were wondering if it was worth it to play the second game, if they really want to put on the money for it, if they want to put on the time. It's gotten pretty mixed reviews for the however many months it's been out. It came out in March, September, like 6 months, so half a year, you know. I figured I might as well make a playthrough for it, so there are probably some out there already, but so in case my friends or anyone else who may stumble upon this wants to know what it's like, they'll have this video, and it might be great, and it might be terrible. Hopefully it won't be my fault that it's terrible if it's terrible, but you never know. Because of the time issues I was also having with the other videos, I'm probably not going to play, once we hit the first scene where we're actually starting to fight things, the first combat, I'm probably going to stop recording, because I do tend to ramble, and we probably will be out of time by the time I get to there, so this is just an intro. Anyway, so, welcome to class selection. You can select the mage character, who is a mage and does mage things, or you can be a character who is not a mage, and will pretty much be identified as not mage, because your playthrough will be essentially identical depending on which class you pick, if it's a warrior or a rogue. The rogue does get some neat things. There's one instance, for example, where a rogue has an option of dealing with a slaver by throwing a knife into his head from 10 feet away, which is cool, but at the same time, I don't think that little moments like that, very few and far in between they are, really make up for the fact that warriors and rogues don't really have any bearing on the story. It's a very mage and people who are anti-mage centric story. So yeah, it's not a thing that makes me happy, but there it is. I'm not a fan of mages in this game. I don't think they're that powerful, and I especially hate that the first party member you get stuck with, your sibling, your opposite class sibling, is also far more of a jerk if you play a mage than if you play one of these two classes. So I'm going to be a warrior. That very long process was meant to explain why I'm picking a warrior instead of a mage. And I'm playing a female warrior because I usually play a male character, so, you know, switched up a bit. Yeah. I usually will I'll try not to talk through cutscenes, but I'm gonna talk through this one because it's not that important. It's just setting up the framing device. And the framing device is that this fine young dwarf specimen here, Varric, has been captured by a very angry lady with a very butch haircut, who attempts to stab him in the dick, and then makes him tell her the story of the champion, which is the player character there, Hawk. And it's a nice framing device. It's not bad. As far as setups for video games go, it's pretty interesting, and it does a good job of explaining away some of the stranger little video game things, like, say, why does nobody ever eat or go to the bathroom? Well, because Varric's in the story, and why would he say, and then the champion had to take a leak and ran into the bushes, you know? It does help with the little things like that. So, it's, sorry, I hit the microphone. It's good in that way, but at the same time, it has some problems. Kind of like the downloadable content. There is a downloadable content called Legacy, and the fact that they add in more stories to a device that is in itself a story, makes it a little awkward when suddenly Cassandra is all, we got random information from this place about this thing, and Varric's all, oh yeah, lol, I totally meant to tell you about that, but I forgot and didn't think it would be that important. And you're just kind of like, well, that's possibly the most obvious way to just sort of shove in some new story there that I've ever seen in my life. This really has no bearing on anything, does it? So, yeah, like most things about this game, it both works and doesn't. And whether or not it bothers me depends on the day. Alright, I'm gonna end the video here because, I'm about to go into a rant, while I fight probably about fighting, and, sorry, excuse me, I want to go ahead and make sure this is enough time, and etc. So, I will be back very shortly. Thank you for watching this video. Ciao. Okay, I'm back. That was only 6 minutes actually, so I have some time. Yeah, I was not expecting that. It's been a lot longer usually. Anyway, I have time for the combat rant. This is great. I love this. Okay, so combat in Dragon Age 2 is exceptionally simple. Unlike Dragon Age Origins, which required these little things like, oh, strategy and careful usage of party members, balancing your stats, thinking about your specializations and what sort of works best with what. That's a thing of the past. BioWare has taken the very brave direction of saying that playing this game should really take no skill whatsoever. And speaking of things that take no skill or brain power, the dialogue wheel. It has been simplified from what you may remember from Mass Effect. No longer must you desperately slog through short sentences to figure out what you're trying to say. Now, it has a convenient little icon, because apparently you can't sort of intuit what you're saying from the blurbs they give you. You actually have to have it spelled out for you that you're making the nice option, or the sarcastic option, or the mean option. I will probably rant a little bit about that once it starts getting even more obvious later with question marks and hearts. For now, all I'll say is that it's a big step down from Origins, many dialogue options that really let you shape your own character's personality, and it's definitely a step down from Mass Effect, which, while I'm not a fan of the dialogue wheel, managed to do the dialogue wheel pretty well. So yeah, here's a thing that they did kind of wrong. But what they did right is that the sarcastic options are actually pretty funny, so that's what I'll be picking probably for most of the game. That's hilarious. Look, it takes some time. And you can of course make your party members do your dirty work for you on occasion. I hate doing my own work, so here you go, Bethany. So, back to combat in Dragon Age 2. I believe it has been described as press the button and something awesome happens, and that's pretty apt. You just sort of pick a direction, say I don't even really have anything targeted right now. I had that random Herlock targeted, but Bethany, stop hurting my demonstration. You just go standing in between them, which I was trying to do until Bethany came in, and press the button. And awesome happens. There's more awesome in the early part of the game because you're purposely overpowered, but it's not quite what people who played Origins probably going to remember. It's a lot simpler. It's more akin to how Origins was on the PlayStation 3 and possibly on the 360. So it's very hack and slash, and that might be something you're into, and it might not. I was disappointed by how much more simple combat was. I can't say that it isn't fun, but it's a little disappointing, which might not make any sense, but it makes sense to me. Anyway, here's an ogre. It's a pushover, because like I said, you're completely overpowered. Just use a few talents on it, and goodbye, ogre. I just hit you in the crotch. Now see if this animation looks familiar. What's that you say? That's the exact same thing Duncan did to get rid of the ogre in the in the sequence involving ogre. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers from Dragon Age Origins. Why, yes, yes it is. What, you thought BioWare was above reusing assets from old games? Don't be silly. Animations are for everyone. Now you might notice Cassandra's odd walk. That's the odd walk that a lot of females in this game have. No matter what sort of woman you are, a high-level Templar, a captain of the guard, champion of Kirkwall, you will have a very strange hip-swaying walk, and you'll have a strange run where you flail your arms around. I'm not sure why they decided to give girls that animation. That's probably one of the reasons I don't like playing a female Hawk. But it's kind of disconcerting. Alright, now I'm really gonna end the video, I promise, after this little cutscene bit right here. So okay, here's the real ending of the video. I was just kidding earlier. So when I do the next video, we'll do character creation, and we'll get into the story proper. Alright, ciao kitty.